Well, for reasons I'll get into later, my wife is learning how to move snow with the skid loader right now, and I'm pretty dang proud of her. She's doing a really good job. I basically showed her how the controls work, and I said, whatever you do, don't back into something. Don't back into a snowdrift and get stuck, and don't back into a shed or something. Obviously, with a skid loader, if you're going forward, it's pretty easy to get yourself unstuck, but look at her. She's getting after it. Welcome back to Carl's Shop Shenanigans. Now, what's more fun and relaxing than taking the door panel apart on your wife's car? Now, why would I be doing this on a Sunday afternoon? I'm replacing the driver's side mirror that currently looks like this and needs to look more like this. One thing I'm not going to be able to take care of today are these gouges and dents in the door. Now, the jury's out on whose fault this situation is. Technically, I was the one backing up in the skid loader and the car was behind me. But even more technically, my wife was the one standing nearby and not saying anything about the fact that I was about to back into the car. But, I mean, she has her whole story about what that was about.
You were backing up and you weren't watching where you were going and it got crunched.
But the part about you, about how you were standing right there, you know?
I was looking at the chicken coop, trying to figure out if it was where I wanted it.
So in your perspective, not your fault at all?
No, you were the one driving.
I want to show you a little trick I just came up with. I'm pretty proud of it because I've screwed this up a lot of times before. And if you ever work on stuff, I bet you have too. Check this out. It's worth a try. So when attaching the new mirror, the studs are recessed back into the door. And I do not want to drop the nuts down into the door because there's really no way to get them out. And these little nuts right here, when you put them in the end of your wrench, when you're in there jockeying around to try to get on that stud, it's extremely easy to drop a nut. So check this out. You tear off a little piece of a shop towel, all right? Put your nut against the shop towel and then force it into the socket as hard as you can, all the way until it bottoms out. And then if you want to be super neat and extra, you just tear off all of the paper towel that you can that's sticking out. And look at that. Now you're not going to drop your nut. In you go. Spin it on. You got to be careful to make sure you don't get it cross-threaded and mess up that stud. But you get it on there, and then you can kind of wiggle your socket around until it lets go of that nut. And you know what? Who cares about that? Isn't it nice how that marker light illuminates the scratches and the dents? You ever get the feeling like you're just your own worst enemy? Wait till you see what I just did. So I was loading the semi to go to the ethanol plant with corn, and I was trying to save some time, so I was eating my lunch while I was loading the truck. I had a bowl of beef stew, and I mean, there's soup all over the floor, soup clear over there in front of the passenger seat. There's soup on the tarp remote and the cup holder. Well, that's as good as it's gonna get until a warmer day because, oh, there's some soup right there. Ugh. Anyway, that foaming cleaner stuff actually freezes to the floor of the truck when it's this cold outside, so. Oh well, better hit the road. Would you believe me if I told you that it was 0 degrees Fahrenheit today? In fact, I think it might be only -1. Might not even be 0. It's a cold day at the ethanol plant. So I've got some news for you guys. Over the last couple weeks, I've been having some neck pain and shoulder pain and back pain. And, 10 days ago, maybe it was, I started having numbness in my hand. And I couldn't feel my fingers. And my wrist and my bicep and my left arm are just really, really weak. I can't, if I pick up my coffee tumbler, I can't get it up here and tip it up to my mouth without dropping it. And I went to the doctor. They did an x-ray. Everything was fine. Finally had an MRI Friday. And an hour after the MRI, I got a phone call from a neurosurgeon at a hospital an hour away wanting to know if I could see him the same day. We went down there, and it turns out I have a herniated disc, a pretty bad one, in the C5, C6 gap, if you know what that means. And what they want to do about it, and they want to do it really soon, they want to go in through the front of my neck, take the whole disc out, and put in a titanium ball and socket kind of joint to replace the disc. Fusion used to be what they always did. They would fuse the vertebrae together when they took the disc out, but now they're having a lot of luck with this ball and socket situation. And since I'm young and they want me to have neck mobility so that my other vertebrae don't get worn out for trying to compensate for a fused vertebrae, that's what they want to do. I'm not super excited about it, but I am excited about getting the function of my left hand and left arm back. It's going to take some physical therapy to get there, but I am having intense nerve pain, burning in my arm and stabbing in my shoulder when I lay down to sleep. Standing up is okay, laying down is horrible. And I can't wait to get this done so that I can lay down and not have that feeling anymore, because that disc where it's sticking out of where it should be is actually pretty much pinching off the area where the nerve root comes out of that vertebrae. And that's the nerve root that controls, I guess, my left bicep, my left wrist flexing, and then like sensation in my thumb and finger. So I'm going to be out of commission for farming for 8 weeks after this surgery. We're hoping we can get the surgery done pretty soon. They're wanting to do it this week yet, if possible. I've never been laid up for that long, and I'm the kind of guy that likes to be going, and doing something all the time. I've got a lot of things, that need done, but this is the most important thing that needs done right now, because they said that the longer we go without taking care of this problem, the more permanent nerve damage I'll have and the less of my normal function and strength I'll ever get back on that arm and that hand and wrist. So we're going to do this as soon as we can. And I'm very happy that it's January right now, because if everything goes according to plan, everything goes well, I should be back in the saddle by the 1st of April for planting. But I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I'm still going to produce content. I don't know how often it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to look like. It's probably going to look like a lot of people doing my work for me. In fact, that's already started. My wife has been pushing snow with the skid loader. My brother's been over helping put hay bales in. We had a heifer that had to have a shot, vaccination. Everybody's just been doing it for me the last few days because I can't really drive the skid loader right now the way I am. Too much pain with the bouncing around and then the strength in my arm to operate that loader control. I'd appreciate if you're the praying type, if you could send up a few prayers for me about getting this surgery done soon and having the outcome be really good, and then having the healing process go really fast. And also, I'm going to try to save you from a little shock by telling you that they are going to force me to shave my entire beard and mustache and everything off. So the next time you see me, I'll probably look like Pee Wee Herman. Anyway, that's going to do it for me for today. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I appreciate your companionship. I should have a lot of time on my hands in the next 8 to 10 weeks to reply to your comments in the comments section. So if you got anything to say, put it right down here. I'm not going to be as busy as I normally am. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time.